Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Nexus, and welcome back to Heroes of the Storm as we're about to kick off the EU Hitbox Stormgrounds number 2. Not only do we have some invited teams, but some teams that have clawed their way through some qualifications. It's set to be quite the event. From across the pond, I'm the forecourt jester, and with me as well from the blistering homeland of Arizona, we have Tempo Zoya. How you doing this morning, sir?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well, man. Really excited to cast this game. First up, we have Virtus.PRO versus LGA Esports. LGA being a new up-and-coming team, but Virtus.PRO yesterday qualifying for Road to BlizzCon Regionals for EU, which is really, really exciting for them. I'm super excited to see how they're going to play today. I know they came off they got third place yesterday, which was qualifying for them. Got to feel good right now going into these sets.
Yeah, and with another Hitbox Stormgrounds coming into the fray, I mean, it's more money, it's more practice. As you said, going into the BlizzCon, the more scrims that they can get, the more they can improve as a team. Hopefully, it will do them well down the line. So we're gonna have to see what Virtus.PRO and LGA have for us. As they're gonna be our first match later on as well. We have Team Kingwin taking on the Puchek team, and then the winner versus winner to finish us all off. Now, this is a 3-day event, ladies and gentlemen. We got today's coverage. We got Tuesday as well. 4 more teams ready to go then, and the big finals coming up on Thursday as well. It's set to be an exciting time, and speaking of exciting, I believe the draft is ready to go, Zoya.
Yep, it looks like LGA with that first pick, first ban, gonna take out Uther. And Virtus.PRO responding with a Zeratul. Pretty standard. But the interesting thing here is LGA, they're first picking that Vala over Jaina, over Leoric, over Zagara even. It's pretty crazy to me.
Well, can't really say I've seen a first pick Vala in quite a while now, but as you said, over the Jaina, over the Leoric, which are going to be the first 2 picks there from Virtus.PRO. Now, we still actually do have, 2 more picks ready to go here for LGA. It could actually just be a comfort pick for them.
Yeah, it involves a super safe damage. Great positioning with her. The power of just the Hungering Arrow build plus Strafe. You can throw out lots and lots of damage really, really quickly there. So not too it's not like a bad pick necessarily. It's just something we see very often. LGA going to be locking in that Nazebo. Getting a little bit of push action, that late game damage to help, carry that point. Once he gets 16, he does get that power spike with Leaping Spiders, and it will be Malfurion as their support.
Alright, so we got ourselves a DPS, a specialist, a support, and already with that Uther ban, this has got to be very careful here for Virtus.PRO, because already, Malfurion pick, Uther ban, it's very likely that LGA here is going to be banning out Rhaegar, and that will be leaving us Virtus.PRO with a Lily.
Yeah, definitely should be the possibility here for LGA, forcing that. That's the power of having first pick when you ban out like an Uther. If Virtus.PRO does not pick, that support in their first rotation, they're going to be left with an awkward spot, and that's probably what LGA is looking to do. But we've seen Lily work in the past several times. Whenever you chokehold yourself into a this Uther, or the early support pick, sometimes it can backfire.
Yeah, if you do definitely get yourself a good strong front line or a really strong damage core, you can actually make it work if you don't have to kind of deal with a lot of the overpowered from your opponents. So LGA, they're really thinking about this one here, but as we go into this, remember, all of the things that you're about to see today are all best of 3s. The first matchup here on this battleground of Tomb of the Spider Queen is going to be number 1. So keeping that in mind, now you can see a little bit of the power of Nazebo coming into that. As you said, a little bit late game, right? But he can hold down that lane easy, and he can poke at a lot of the turn-in as well with those zombies, with those spiders, with those toads. So having that as a prioritization, I was actually just watching the NZA, the New Zealand and Australian qualifiers, and they really do highly value their Nazebo there as well. So Kyle coming into here for LGA, it's kind of interesting to see the rise of the Witch Doctor since we haven't seen him for a while.
Virtus.PRO with a lot on their table. They will be going with that double warrior. We do know that Abathur is very popular right now with Leoric. They're going to go ahead and lock in the Tyrande. Now, it could be solo support Tyrande. We've seen that a few times in Korea as well as every once in a while in NA when that Lily is picked. But, oh man, they've got with Jaina, Tyrande, and then the double warrior, I think they have enough. This is a super squishy team from LGA, so I feel like they don't need to lock in a fit damage. I think Lily would be the safe pick here, as they can definitely secure a kill. If they get that Stormbolt into Lunar Flare combo, they can definitely secure a kill against these squishies so far.
Well, it's not like we're probably going to see LGA pick up the Lily, so leaving it for the last pick definitely a little bit more of a safer way to go. And pick up the Tyrande, I mean, it's a sport and a half, right? So it's not just going to fall to Lily. So I'm definitely with you on that regard. And, you know, with the Tyrande there as well, Hunter's Mark to help augment a little bit from the double warriors. I mean, Leoric himself, more of a bruiser, at least in my opinion, but going back and forth, LGA, I mean, they got to solidify their own tank at this point, and now with Mirrodin out, Johanna out, Leoric already picked, it's going to, what, fall to Tyrael, perhaps, at this point?
Well, Manubrac's still available, but I know he's not highly prioritized in EU. So I would expect Tyrael. Do not see them running something like Arthas here. Joanna, of course, for the disruption, super tanky frontline would be really good, especially since this comp's going to be aiming to blow someone up really quickly. So I like to see one of those two. Just someone that can disrupt for the back end. It's going to be ETC. Whoa. That's interesting.
Well, if you look at the side of LGA, what kind of burst do we actually have? Just kind of feels like Vala, unless we're going to see some kind of, you know, Ravenous Spirit. But even then, it's not like Jaina burst. It's not Kael'thas burst. And speaking of, Kael'thas nowhere to be found on this draft as we lock in the last pick Lily here.
Yep, Kael'thas going all the way through. Not super prioritized in EU. So we'll be seeing a Kael'thas-less game here. The composition from LGA just screams at me sustain damage. You get the sustain from Tychus, you get the sustain from Zebo Vala. Can have burst with the Hungering Arrow build, but overall it's just a long, drawn-out fight for her. So LGA, with this composition with the Malfurions, the slow heals over time, and then the ETC going to be used to just peel for that backline, right? You know, whenever they go in for a kill, he gets stuns, he tries to land the mosh pit to counter engage. You know, this just screams, you know, we want to win the long fight. So Virtus.PRO is going to be looking to just blow up that front line and get early kills really quick.
If I had to take a guess in the kind of current burst meta, Virtus.PRO definitely seems a little bit more engage heavy, definitely a little bit more blow up able at this point, because Tomb of the Spider Queen's a small battleground. Like, there's not a lot of space really to contend with there. But, you know, Leoric coming into that, Mirrodin over the wall, Tyrande with the stuns, with the vulnerabilities coming into there as well. It seems that, at least on the surface of the draft, Virtus.PRO should have a much easier early game looking for some of these kills.
Yeah, the aggression coming out from the Miranda combo is so very powerful that doesn't matter who is the third person in that lane that they gank, they should be able to secure kills if they, you know, get the Hunter's Mark down, they land their combo properly. But I want to just, you know, give a quick shout out to all of our viewers here. We are doing a Steel Series giveaway every single day that the tournament is live, and today, August 3rd, we will be giving away 2 Steel Series Sensei's Raw, the Heroes of Storm Edition, and then 2 Steel Series QCKs as well. The mouse pad. You can tweet at us with your Hitbox username and use the hashtag Stormgrounds in your tweet to join the Stormgrounds giveaway. Force powered by Steel Series. Big shout out to those guys for, you know, setting us up with the giveaway.
Yep, Steel Series was a big sponsor in #1, and not really too much of a surprise to see their generosity and awesomeness coming here into Hitbox Stormgrounds at #2 as well. Hopefully, you know, you guys, a lot of people entered those giveaways in #1. We gave away the Raws, we gave away the QCKs. A lot of happy fans went home with some swag just for showing up and watching and supporting Hitbox, Heroes of the Storm, and Steel Series. So we do give you guys big thanks on that regard, because you guys are the MVP when it comes to this kind of stuff. We are now just going to be waiting and loading in for Virtus.PRO and LGA Esports. Now, I mentioned this just before we went live. Who is LGA? And that's when we were told that there was a qualification process. You're going to see 2 teams here that weren't invited per se here, but they fought their way through the qualification. So I'm very interested to see what kind of dark horse LGA Esports is going to be. But we have another team that we're going to see tomorrow as well. Team, I'm hoping I'm saying this right, Janae Ryodan. They're going to be up against Gamers 2 tomorrow. And that's a little bit of a tall order for a team with, you know, very little rep going into that, so yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough battle, you know, for these new teams. The G2's been around forever. Like we talked about earlier, Virtus.PRO making their qualification for the Heroes of the Storm Road to BlizzCon European Championship. They got top 3 there yesterday. You know, so when you're an up-and-coming team and suddenly you're facing these Titans, it can be very scary. But you know, what better way to make a name for yourself? You know, if you know LGA were to suddenly take down Virtus.PRO today, that would definitely get some, you know, buzz going.
Oh, wouldn't that just be the thing of the day? We wake up and all of a sudden, like, these new champions of Heroes of the Storm come into the fray. That would just absolutely be a wonderful story for them. But, going into this again, you got to keep your mentality high. You made it through the qualification process. You were the best of the best to get here. But now you're up against one of the most proven teams here on the European side of things. So, it's a little bit of an uphill battle. I'm very curious to see exactly what kind of play we're going to see in Tomb of the Spider Queen. And, all I've got to say is best of luck to LGA, because Virtus.PRO is definitely no stranger here.
Yeah, they're seasoned, they're looking and coming into this, but, we've seen it happen in the past across all these great teams, You sleep on the up-and-comers. I remember back when Puchek was first coming up, Liquid got taken down by them, and everyone's like, whoa, Liquid lost to Puchek, who are they? And now, they're one of the more consistent teams in the EU. You can't sleep on these up-and-comers because, those are the people who are going to, eventually become the top teams in your region.
And it's always very exciting to see when that does happen. It's just like, all right, these guys were no names. They're up against a veritable king, but now, the king is dead. Long live the king. It's exciting. It really is. The game is still growing. It's just a few months out of their release. The esports scene is starting to really kick up into overdrive. And we got BlizzCon coming up. We have how many lands in the next few months already planned out? PAX Prime. The America's Championship, going into that, BlizzCon, we have MGA, we have just a billion things. It just seems like that we have to do by the end of the year. And just, again, you need teams to play in this. And it's fun, and it's exciting to see new blood like this.
Absolutely, Sean. But we are loading into the first game of the day, guys. It's going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen. We just got done watching the draft. We just got done discussing the teams. But now they're going to speak for themselves with their play, of course. Super excited to see how this is going to play out. Aggression is the name of the game.
Yeah, if I did have to guess early, it's going to be big aggression from Virtus.PRO. I mean, they got the double warrior. They have a lot of mobility between the Leoric, the Mirrodin. You got a big range stun, and then the 25% from the Hunter's Mark from Tyrande. Like, everything just seems set up, and it's screaming to me that they want to try to make use of that here early.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see how LGA is going to respond. We are in the game, Sean. On the left-hand side of the map, it is going to be Virtus.PRO, Andy Lendy, Unsable, BKB, Kabagaja, and Kunachan.
And who are their opponents, sir?
It is going to be LGA Esports on the right, Katsuri, Deacon, Franz. It will be Verasoro, and rounding out the team, it will be Kasami on that Nazebo.
All right, so as we jump into it, I mean, again, going to be looking for a lot of that big aggression early, but still, name of the game is to get those spider gems, dunk them down, get those web weavers flowing. And LGA, a lot on their plate here.
Really, really excited to see, again, I love Double Warrior, it's becoming the meta across all the regions right now. It's mainly picked up originally by China way back when, and everyone was like, you're crazy, what are you doing? And then Korea started running it. Tempo Storm kind of ran it, but only with a Nubarak and Muradin. And now every region is just gunning for these Double Warrior, super tanky frontline composition. It's really cool to see.
Now it's interesting, the evolution of the Double Warriors. It's like a lot of the early meta was 1 warrior, 1 support, 3 DPS. Then the specialists started kicking in. Now the Double Warrior kicking in. The changes in the meta have just absolutely been ridiculous. But you can definitely get results.
A really good first blood coming out there from Virtus.PRO, landing those stuns. That's the power of the Miranda combo. We saw the aggressive leap there coming out from BKB. He landed the Stormbolt. The follow-up stun was there from Tyrande. And once you secure those combos onto these squishy targets like Vala and Nazebo, they're going to die every single time.
Yeah, and that's a big thing on this map. I mean, there's a lot of ways to get close without being seen. You can easily just clean up and close that gap. My goodness, Malfurion is just... I mean, that's the thing. Like, this map, again, big aggression, Virtus.PRO. They can just easily get in, get out, use that mobility, use these vents to their big advantage, and, well, 2 takedowns already.
Yeah, we did see that scouting drone pick up from Malfurion, but, it's just not enough reaction time as BKP does go in for those amazing Dwarf tosses. He does miss the Stormbolt there, but the damage without even the stuns there is enough to take down Malfurion. Yet again, it's just, with that Hunter's Mark, the Jaina does so much extra damage, and it's going to be secured kills. LGA, they have to start playing more safe. They have to just hug their wall, because Virtus.PRO can just push into them pretty easily. That's what all they're doing, is they're pushing in the lane. Just hug your wall, get your gems that way, and just play safe, because this is not going to work out in the long term for them.
Now, I mean, at this rate, I mean, so far, Virtus.PRO almost a whole level up as well. You know, that's a big thing going forward. If they just keep roaming like this, LGA is going to be permanently on the defensive. And, you know, again, like ETC coming into this, he could be their aggression. He actually could do it, but you need a big follow-up onto that. And so far, I'm just not seeing that flexibility from LGA.
Yeah, ETC known for not being the best liner, having trouble for getting out there. Now the Lunar Flare does got unstable, not able to connect that with his target. But the Virtus.PRO, there's no problem with what they're doing right now. They're just clearing the waves. They're throwing out their skill shots, and they happen to miss. They're not too sad about. Deacon goes for the stun onto Andy Lendy. He gets blown up in return, though. ETC just getting annihilated, showing that his health pool for the Warriors isn't as high as some of the tanky ones like Murden and Joanna.
And he might have a little bit of sustain, but when it comes to this kind of big burst damage, he doesn't really have any tools to help him out in that regard. Like, you can get off, the guitar solo, and over time, you might be able to win out a little bit of a siege. But at this point, you just get in, get out. Virtus.PRO really showing us the power of the roam. And now 56 gems to the name as well. They easily have a turn-in whenever they want, because the repeated takedowns have decimated the LGA count.
Well, the sun goes out on the ETC. He is going to be the first to fall in this fight. Franz doing as much damage as he can, but not able to secure any kills. It's just, they need the longer fights with this composition. The Zebo, Tychus, Vala, they're not going to be able to secure burst kills super easy here. And I want to point out something interesting. We're seeing an auto attack build coming out from Vala. We have Rancor at level 1 and Manticore at level 4. I mean, Jester, what are your thoughts?
Well, when I do my shows, I typically do say, if you have two big tanky targets, and in this case they do, Mirrodin and that Leoric, the single target build, you need to try to blow up someone. They might try to use, an ETC lockdown with the Mosh Pit, give it a lot of time there for the Tychus to start doing work, use that single target bonus to blow up one of those initiators, but it's going to take a while to kick in. You got to play very safe early on, because it won't really come to fruition until about level 13, but it's not the worst. I mean, you're not likely to get a one-on-one situation with double tank in the Tyrande, right?
Yeah, you're not definitely going to be able to get that. But the Stormbolt does got the follow-up. Lunar Flare's there. Malfurion going to fall. We just saw Vala fall shortly before it. You cannot just be sitting passively there versus these guys. There's so much damage potential just from the Murd and Tyrande combo alone that they don't even need anyone to help secure those kills. Now it's 7 kills to 0, Sean. These Web Reavers are doing insane amount of damage. They just got the top fort. Nazebo got soloed in the bottom lane versus that King Leoric. I mean, this is just... Virtus.PRO is just taking full control of this game, Sean.
Yeah, Nazebo definitely had a little bit of a tough time down there. He even got cleaned up by the Web Weavers themselves. That's big AoE that they do for their push, but 1 fort down, perhaps even just another quick one here. That'll solidify the level 10 from Virtus.PRO, and with that 10, I mean, the heroics, it's a heck of a tier to have an advantage over for LGA this early on.
Well, we'll be seeing Water Dragon kick it out from Lele, and he does end up using that on ETC. He doesn't get much damage done there. Other heroics, Starfall and Water Dragon also taken just yet. I haven't seen what Murd and Leoric get. That will be Avatar, and it will be Entomb on Leoric.
Alright, so Water Dragon. People might come into this and be saying, Water Dragon troll, where's the jugs, right? But, oh man, that poor Nazebo, he's just not having a good day into that bottom lane. But, yeah, with that Water Dragon, it's just like, how much damage has Virtus.PRO actually taken with these engages? Well, it's very little.
Yeah, they're just going full ham. It doesn't seem like he needs the judge, especially with the if you're going to make an argument for Water Dragon, it should be when you have like a backup support like Toronto. But we do see that BKB goes in. The Stormbolt does connect with Tychus. Lunar Flare's there. Blizzard's going to do enough damage to secure that kill. 10 kills to nothing in favor of Virtus.PRO. They're going to take this middle fort. This is going to be a triple fort play for them, and they have enough for another turn. And now the Water Dragon does go out, connects with Vala. The slow not going to be enough to help them get in range for another kill, unfortunately. And they are going to get this fort. But oh my gosh, Nazebo overstepping a lot there, gets blown up again. These guys are just walking into Virtus.PRO. It's a feeding frenzy right now.
Yeah, I saw that Stormbolt go out, and just you cringe a little bit. LGA at the top of the qualification process, but as I said, you know, their nerves might be a little bit shaking here. Their draft definitely didn't really seem to be that meta right now, and Virtus.PRO is basically playing the game that they want to play at this point. You hit the Leoric, that's fine. He heals you up with the Drain Hope. You hit the Mirrodin, fine. He has second wind. Water Dragon on a 50-second cooldown or so, it's one of the most powerful slows in the game, and that is just not going to be helping the LGA cause at all, as it sets up nicely for this engage comp.
Yeah, it just makes it so much easier for them to secure those kills in case Janna can't get in range for the slow. Now we do see that the turn-in is happening here. Ooh, and Lily might have been out a bit of a position there. There's the Water Dragon going out. It does connect with Vala, chunking her health down decently, but no one there to follow up. 3-level lead right now for Virtus.PRO. They're starting the Giants in the bottom. They've got their second Web Reaver spawning. I mean, the momentum is clearly just huge in their favor.
Yeah, at this point, we don't even have those heroics for LGA. I mean, it's really hard to fight back at a 3-level deficit, but when that level includes the level 10 unlocks, it is just, I mean, you got to play defensive, and unfortunately, this is not a map that will really award you for doing so. I mean, we have 44 gems still to LGA. They still don't even have enough for a full turn-in, and the second wave of Web Weavers coming in, Virtus.PRO, I mean, it's their map at this point. They have all the control going for them.
Yeah, and then we see the Water Dragon going out on the Kasami. The slow hurting him a lot. Blizzard follows up, does get cleansed at the last second. He will not end up going down, but Murden goes in for the Dwarf Toss. Does land the Stormbolt. They're trying to get him, but he's kiting away. ETC getting caught inside that Entomb. He is going to be the first to fall in this fight. And level 13 has been acquired here for Virtus.PRO. Still no heroics here coming out for LGA Esports. Water Elementals chasing down Tychus. The fort, or the keep, is being sieged. It's definitely going down. And bottom keep, of course, taking some damage as well from that other Web Weaver. This could be a double keep play coming out from Virtus.PRO, and they've got a 4-level lead, 5-level lead actually, right this second.
Well, I mean, I like to talk about the 16-13 is the sweet spot, but even if you get like a 16-12 super sweet spot, I don't even know what to call this. Like 14 to just now 10. It's an absolute crapshoot at this point, Zoya.
Yeah, it's looking really bad right now. We do see the Mosh Pit, the Draken Laser Drill, Tranquility, Gargantuan, and Rain of Vengeance taken here from LGA Esports. They do go in. ETC goes in for the stun. Gets the Mosh Pit off on just Tyrande there. Not going to be enough to keep himself alive, though. He gets blown up immediately. Kuchichan is taking a lot of damage. He's going to fall. Leoric is down, but he does have that trait to keep him back alive. Draken Laser Drill actually doing a lot of damage to Unstable. Tyrande's going to fall in this fight. And this is what they need to turn this around, is Virtus.PRO getting a little bit overextended there. They're going to end up turning around and getting 2 more kills, though. Draken Laser Drill not able to save their opponents or the teammates' lives there. But that will be still a 4-level lead right now. 16 kills to 2, Jester.
16 to 2 is a heck of a tall order at this point, but 2 keeps down there as well. 16 on the horizon from Virtus.PRO, and we're still not even close to that next breakpoint for LGA at that 13-minute mark. And with this many deaths, I mean, we got so many lanes pushing in, so many catapults. The Stone Bros are there as well. I don't think this core is going to be lasting too much longer, Zoya.
Yeah, the core is starting to fall here. They're still trying to force this fight, and Tomb goes down on the Vala barrier, so does end up falling there. And now Leoric looks like he's going to fall himself, not able to secure that kill on the Deacon. But again, it is the Skeleton King. He will be back into this fight very, very shortly. Now Tyrande's headed across the map, does end up joining her teammate. It's a little 15 to 12 right now, Jester, and so close to 16 here. And they're still pursuing this chase. Doesn't look like they'll be able to, though, with Murden and Lily both being completely out of mana.
And, you know, every time that Leoric actually goes down, where's his ghost? It's always there in the front line. It's always giving vision. It's always threatening that revive, and he's always cheating that death there as well. That's a big factor of why Virtus.PRO can continue to be so aggressive. Yeah, they lost out Jane and she's coming back, but every time Cooney goes deep, he's still going to be there, you know, cheating death and back in your face much quicker than you might actually expect. So Cooney-chan, I mean, he's been a big proponent of this aggression, and now coming into this, it's just 16 to 13. The sweet spot's there.
Lunar Flare does end up getting cleansed. Good job there from Malfurion. But Cooney-chan being turned on. He is going to get blown up really quick there. As you just got saying, you know, King Leoric. He'll be back soon. He is scouting them doing these Knights right now. The team is not collapsing as Murden is on the other side of the map doing the Knights for himself. But it is 16 versus 13. This is a really important tier, especially for Lily. She already gave up a lot of healing, giving up going for Water Dragon, but now she has 2 for 1, doubling her healing potential, which is really going to be important in these next fights. We do see that BKB is charging in front line. There's a huge Water Metal Root combo, and that should be the death of Kazami. No, he does end up backing out there. The stun goes down onto Follow, but she will be the first to fall. ETC going to fall as well, Sean, and this is looking really bad. They're in full retreat. Malfurion's going to be the next. Kazami gets caught in that Entomb. Big Storm Bolt going down on the Tychus as well. That is going to be a full wipe Jester, 16-13, and they're going straight in on this core.
As I said, the core likely not to be living too much longer in this matchup, but you know, it is a little bit of credit there to Vala. She did hold her ground. She was able to pick up those bruisers. Not that it's going to amount to much by the end of it all, but when you see a big stun engage comp like this, ETC is not going to be, you know, your man of choice for that deflection, for that disengage, right? And banning out the Uther as that first pick, or that first ban from LGA, might have actually shot these guys a little bit in the foot, because, you know, a big engage comp like this, you could go a long way with the shield, with the stuns, even a Divine Storm by the end of it if you're going to get collapsed upon that hard. The disengage just wasn't there. ETC with the mosh pit just got 0 value out of it by the end of it. And, you know, Virtus.PRO, yeah, it might be, you guys might be coming in, you might be saying, all right, that Water Dragon, fine, troll a little pub game, blah, blah, blah. But it just came down to the fact that LGA couldn't keep anyone alive to do damage. And then you saw, you know, a bit of a shift at the end there as well, right? LGA started to finally push back, get some of those takedowns, get a lot of that catch-up experience, because, you know, the fact that Lily couldn't keep up with it was very evident, but didn't matter in the end because Virtus.PRO snowballed so very hard before those level 10s kicked in.
Yeah, I mean, it was just really well played. Not, like you said, not the best composition for ETC, as there are the 2 easiest stuns landing at the Storm Balls, and of course the Lunar Flare. Like once that mosh pit does go down, you're not going to get much value out of it. So, you know, hopefully they reevaluate their draft and going into this next game. You know, if you're going to go for that ETC, Uther definitely a priority for sure.
Yeah, it was an Uther first ban, Rhaegar is the second. You know, it might be a good idea to try to force your opponents into a Lilib. And, you know, if Virtus.PRO basically saw it coming at that point, like with the Uther ban, and they didn't take a support early, they just played their heavy engage team, yeah, and they didn't care. It's just like, all right, we got Lily, whatever. You saw as well, Lily had, what, 3 talents, all dedicated to Blinding Wind. She had her Water Dragon there as well. So not only could the double auto attack damage of Tychus and Vala almost never hit anything, therefore you'd never need any heals. You know, the big engages, the level 10s, the stuns, Leoric heals himself, the Mirrodin heals himself. We do have that clutch heal if we need it for the Tyrande, and you could never jump on the Jaina. It was just a bad choice by the end of it all to kind of go into auto attackers, but leave Lily available as the healer.
Yeah, they executed perfectly. Talent build from Virtus.PRO was really well done as well. I have no complaints on how they played this. So, you know, there's always going to be the Water Dragon versus Jugs argument. They made it work here, and there's always that flexibility with that. I really like their draft. And how they played it. We'll have to see how they want to go into it with draft number 2.
Yeah, and speaking of, guys, it looks like we're just going to take a few moments here to get everything set up. So when we do come back, Virtus.PRO and LGA, they're going to have match number 2. We will get all the information ready for you. And when we return, the draft will be ready. Forecourt and Zoya going to be here for the Hitbox Stormgrounds, sponsored by SteelSeries, sponsored by Hitbox. It's an amazing, fun tournament times still ahead. And when we return, game number 2. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you guys in a few.